Hey everyone, Sports Talk Bears. If you get a second, like and subscribe. It helps out a ton. And hey, we are in mock draft season, and the Bears have a chance here to make some franchise altering picks, but also put themselves into contention this upcoming year with also being able to set the stage for dominance in future years as well. This chance is literally once in a lifetime. I'm going by an NBC Sports mock draft that I'm referencing, and it has two things going for it that it's super reliable. It has reasonable valuations of picks, and it helps illustrate what's actually possible for the Bears to go out and do. This type of fleecing and stockpiling of picks, while also building a great team in the present, it's fully possible. There's two dangers to this though. We trade so much and so far back that we don't get any blue chip players that'll actually make a difference, or we squander what we get in return because the front office, they just can't make good picks. Well, we have a great GM in Ryan Poles. We have support from assistant GM Ian Cunningham. He's just great and would be a fantastic GM in his own right. Plus, we have the full support of team president Kevin Warren with no more interference from Ted Phillips anymore. What a blessing. Thank goodness. In short, we have what we need to succeed, and it's time to swing away. So let's get into this. Let's have some fun. All right. So I'm going to say we trade this number one pick. Let me get to the story here for a little bit of guidance. I say that we trade this number one pick, and the team we do it with is the Washington Commanders. So what do we get for it? And I believe this is very much possible. We flip our first rounders. We pick next, obviously. We get their 2024 second rounder, either pick 36 or pick 40, next year's second round pick, and a 2025 fourth as well. I'm not wanting to get crazy with the compensation. I'm not doing multiple firsts. Let's just make it something that could actually happen. And the funny thing in all this, we luck into this pick in the trade with Carolina. Poles, I'm pretty sure he thought it might be a top 5 at best, but he couldn't have imagined it would have been the number 1 pick. Okay. And we end up getting our number 2 pick right back that we traded for Montez Sweat to the same team. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, we get Sweat as a cornerstone of our team with a contract in another year. Once Bosa gets paid and guys like Myles Garrett, et cetera, Sweat's contract is going to be $10 million below the top of the market. That is just incredible work. That's great football economics. And now we have a second rounder to work with that we can use for a need, most likely at center, which I'll cover in a few. But I don't usually buy into lots of rumors. But it was possible to telegraph any more completely this move than Washington. They might have tried. But I mean, Kingsbury, his hire/steal from Vegas at the last second. I think he might have been hours away from signing his contract. It was like 72 hours from when it was announced. His connection to Caleb's hometown. By now, you know the reasoning. We've also got new ownership, a new coach, a need to fix his franchise. At Snyder, he tried to completely ruin it, and now they need to create the biggest buzz possible. Well, this is how you do it, right? Fan enthusiasm will be through the roof with the Caleb Williams signing, and it's super compelling. For the sake of moving forward with this mock, let's consider this deal done, and let's get to the fun part. Chicago pulling the trigger. We draft Marvin Harrison Jr. In my eyes, the only truly can't miss generational talent in this whole draft. In this case, generational, it isn't just a buzzword. It's used every single year for so many players, and it's seldom true. But this time, I think it's actually the right word. Let me drop this story down here. I think it's the right word. I think this is truly the only generational player in this whole draft. And once again, Poles, he ignores the media, he ignores half the fan base, and he does what his plan dictates. And here it is. He's supporting his coach. He's supporting a quarterback that's been dealt a disservice by previous regimes. I'm going to hold fast to that. And he's doing it with full support of ownership. Plus, at the end of this, we're going to look at the end product with all the picks and the players that we draft. And you might change your mind if you hate this. So we're going to go through some picks here really quickly. At number 3, New England, they stay patient. They draft Drake May. Atlanta is next. They actually trade up with Arizona and they grab Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels might end up being the best quarterback in this whole class coming off his Heisman win. They're all loaded with talent on offense. They have a good defense. And finally, they have a dual threat quarterback to go with it that's actually good. Atlanta's going to be hard to handle, in my opinion. I think they're going to win that division. At 5, LA Chargers, they go with tight end Brock Bowers out of Georgia. Man, I love this guy. Mackey Award winner, 2-time national champ. Man, just a complete player here. We'll go next with the Giants. Offensive tackle Joe Alt with Notre Dame. That might sting a little. They're sticking with Danny Dimes. I'm not sure that nickname is even accurate at this point. And his 91.2 pass blocking grade, that's top 5. This is going to vastly improve protection and production on the line of scrimmage for the Giants. And I love the pick. Let's go to number 7 with the Titans. Offensive tackle Fashanu out of Penn State. Say no more. Number 8. Arizona Cardinals with the trade they got from Atlanta. They're patient as well. They get their guy with Rome Odunze out of Washington. They're completely unfazed by MHJ being off the board, and they get their guy. They use a pick from the Atlanta trade haul to get it. So now we're at Chicago's number 9. I want you to watch Chicago do something interesting, and they're going to take advantage of a team that's desperate for a quarterback. I talked about it a few videos ago, the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, I don't think they'll mortgage their future entirely for a quarterback to trade all the up to the number 1 pick, but man, they've got to make a move here in Chicago. We'll happily oblige. We'll take Denver's number 12. They'll take our 9th, and we'll take their 76th pick. That's their 3rd rounder. Add to that next year's 2nd. If that feels crazy to you, then make that 2nd pick their 3rd. So the Broncos, they get the quarterback of the future in Bo Nix out of Oregon. I think he'll be a pretty solid pro. He's actually got some similarities to Drew Brees, and that might be actually why Peyton is willing to pull the trigger on this. The Jets are going to take Fuaga, offensive tackle out of Oregon State. Man, judging by the Senior Bowl buzz, he might be the best lineman in the draft, and we just miss him. So at 12, with our pick via Denver, we take our boy, our defensive end Latu out of UCLA. If we miss out on Fuaga, which means he might still be available, but if we miss out on him, Latu, he's a great consolation prize. We now have our bookend to pair with Sweat, and man, he should be a great piece. He just gets after it. Pac-10 Player of the Year, the last one there ever will be, by the way. 21.5 tackles for a loss, 13 sacks. Man, I could really be talked into loving this pick. I think it's a great job. So I'm not going to go any further. It'd be a 2-hour video, but let's review it a bit. We get MHJ. Wow. And the best defensive end in the draft, arguably. We now have a 2nd rounder to spend on the offensive line in this draft. I'd love Powers Johnson here to take care of our center issue, but there are many players available that we can still address our offensive line. And now we have so much ammo. We have a 3rd of our own at pick number 75. We have 2 4ths and a 5th. Add to that now, Denver's 3rd. So now after getting these 2 top-notch players that fill huge needs, we have a 2nd, 3 3rds, 2 4ths, and a 5th this year. That's crazy. We have ammo to move around the draft as we see fit. And next year, we have our own 1st and 2nd, an additional 2nd rounder from the Carolina trade still, Washington's 2nd rounder, our own 3rd rounder, plus Denver's 3rd, our own 4th rounder, plus Washington's 4th, then our own 5th, 6th, and 7th intact. So to recap, next year, 1 1st rounder, 3 2nd round picks, 2 3rds, 2 4th rounders, and the usual 5th, 6th, and 7th. I mean, are you kidding me? Variations of this are actually possible. And this haul, this setup for the future, while getting our guys and having all this flexibility in the draft, we can move back and forth as we see fit with the extra picks that we can pick from this year, plus that incredible setup for next year and beyond. It is crazy. It's almost impossible to argue about. I'm sure you guys will try, but yeah, the first mock draft of the year is in the books. You guys tell me what you think. This is so much fun. I appreciate each and every one of you. And hey, bear down. Let's talk soon, and I'll see you.